say was through the roof.
Deshaun Nelson, second year with DePaul, tips it up with Clark.
Rebound, try to get some easy baskets out in transition.
DePaul this season, to your point, minus 6.4 on the glass. South Carolina, nearly a plus 10. Keep an eye on the boards. Very, very key. This is Talon Cooper. He'll be at the controls. 130th career game here today, starting score at Morehead State, then Minnesota. Got clock running down. There's Meechie Johnson to the cup. That's what he can do. He's a great slasher.
Great finishes. He got in the lane there. Meechie Johnson. Thought Chico Carter switched that first pick and roll. He switched it on to Stephen Clark. Great job front in the post, being physical down there in the lane. It's going to be a big key in this game for DePaul when he does switch those.
This year so far.
Knows how to build a program, knows how to win. Was a part of those great programs at Wisconsin under Bo Ryan. We were talking to him yesterday. I was an assistant.
7 straight NCAA tournaments when he was at Wisconsin. Odin able to spin in that second free throw. He spent his first 3 years at Wyoming, but he's a Chicago native, so he comes back home and he gets DePaul on the board. South Carolina averaging about 78 points per game their first three. Lighting it up from three-point range, 44%. That's 14th nationally. Shot clock to 10. There's Mack in the mid-range, and he drops it through.
One of those versatile players. Jack could do a little bit of everything. He's got a great.
It's a mixture of young guys and transfers and trying to mesh it all together, and finally saw some fruits that Labor Tuesday against South Dakota.
Well, he's also without two rotational guys that played a ton of minutes for him, and Jalen Terry and Mac Etienne, the transfer from UCLA. I mean, those are two guys that are going to play significant minutes for this basketball team. So, you know, not having those guys early in the season, you got to figure out how to play without them.
And they're hoping to get Terry back soon. Not sure right now on Etienne. Shot clock to 3. Chico Carter with the left. Oh, that's tough. And he put it in. Give him one.
On that play, he takes him right to the basket. Great finish for the and-one.
Career 43% three-point shooter. That's 7th best in the country, but look, you can do that and put the ball on the floor too. It makes it that much more difficult to guard.
And you alluded to it. He led the conference last year in three-point field goal percentage, but at one point in his career, he was the active highest percentage shooter from the three-point line in the country.
Meechie Johnson got caught underneath. DePaul with numbers if they hurry. Carter, this is what he does best. Left that one short. And it's going
up and down the floor with them, trying to get them to play with pace, play hard. Anytime someone wasn't running the floor or sprinting the floor, he stopped practice, he addressed it. And that's how you change your culture. And that's exactly what he's trying to do at a program that really hasn't won in a real long time.
Stephen Clark is fouled. You know, we were talking about this in the first 17. Tony Stubblefield's Oregon Ducks, he was an assistant under Dana Altman. They were in that Final Four too. When you think about those Oregon teams, the switchability, all the versatile guys they have, that's the kind of team he's trying to build here. Talon Cooper gets that offensive rebound. So a reset for South Carolina. Studi for 3, and he knocks it down. That's what he can do. He can really fill it up from deep, the Vanderbilt grad transfer.
He's continued his hot streak, 21 points in that win over Virginia Tech. His ability to knock it down from the perimeter, and just his size as well. He's a difficult cover, especially for smaller guards.
Nelson misses on the 3, 1 of 5 now in the season. Studi, quick trigger, not that time. And Clark gets pushed down.
51 starts in 91 games there. Scored 20 or more points 3 times in his career. Great play on the underneath out of bounds to get the layup.
Meechie Johnson gets his second bucket. He started at Ohio State. He's a native of Cleveland, Ohio. Now his second year in the program. 9-4 start for the Gamecocks. Approaching 3 minutes gone, opening half. Fisher inside Nelson, working on Mack. That'll be a fun matchup to watch. Nelson wins round 1.
He's been very impressive by the play.
Nelson, also an Ohio native, from Toledo, Ohio. Started at Kilgore College in Texas. Second among all big men in the Big East last year in scoring and rebounding among 6th men. Impressive stuff. Benjamin Bozeman's Verdonk is in for South Carolina. Hard to miss him, 31. And that's 4 blocks in back-to-back games for the true freshman.
He's got a lot of ability. He's a guy the coach was really coaching in practice. The staff loves him. He's got so much talent. He's big. He's also got a high skill level. Continuing to work on his motor as a young player. He's got a bright future in this DePaul program.
On the run, Johnson. This is Jacoby Wright who just checked in. He feeds out to Johnson, tries a triple, and knocks it down. So Michi Johnson with an early 7 points. And South Carolina doubles up DePaul in the early going.
Jacoby Wright, great poise and transition, pushing, putting pressure on the paint, and finding the open man. DePaul spent a lot of time yesterday, transition defense, sprinting back, finding shooters. Michi was a guy that they kept talking about. We can't give him open threes, a wide open three on that clip and transition.
Here's a Bass, still raw in the offensive game. And that time he is on the end line, and that's the part of the development.
Ed Monarchy is actually the nephew of Sonny Vaccaro, and had a chance to actually jump on a Zoom with Sonny and tell some stories. And man, when you get Sonny going, he doesn't stop. It's so much fun to talk history. We talked best player we ever saw live in high school.
Who was yours?
I had to go with John Wall. Saw him play an AAU game, but it was super impressive just watching him. We used to always have those discussions with Coach Donovan. His was always Kevin Garnett, but Sonny couldn't just pick one. There's too many of his career.
I'll tell you what, Michi Johnson, 9 points in less than 5 minutes. And South Carolina's up 14-6. Chico Carter Jr. and they'll post up Elijah Fisher. They did this a lot. He's a matchup problem. Backing in on right. And now Nelson. DePaul's only gotten up 4 shots so far. Shot clock ticking down. Chico Carter, now Nelson has to heave. And doesn't draw iron. Tough offensive sequence there. Down court, Bozeman's Verdonk had it go off his hands. Good look by Johnson.
Catches the basketball. Let's make sure we get hands on every single catch. It's making DePaul very hard to run their offense and execute their offense. I see DePaul trying to put more pressure on the paint, get the basketball inside the paint off the bounce.
This is Jaden Henley. Started the first couple, off the bench the last few, and he gets 2 there.
Great aggressiveness, not settling. Last offensive possession, the ball was just hopping around the perimeters, moving it from side to side, making it easy for South Carolina to guard him. Henley doesn't stop there. He puts his head down and gets to the rim.
Talon Cooper couldn't finish. Another offensive rebound for South Carolina. Now travel. Mark of their season opener against USC Upstate, and of course he gets to talking to him from Lamont Paris. How did you do that?
Mutt's smiling over there. He's telling him he's smiling. 7 assists, no turnovers in that Virginia Tech win.
For those curious if I did the math, yes, he went 2 hours and about 30 minutes without a turnover at game time. Amazing. Jeremiah Oden, oh, that's a good spin move, but he left it short. And Bozeman's Verdonk clears. First look at Morris Ugasuk, the native of Finland, I should say. They offended him, I said ice. Good drive here, and that won't count. It's on the floor.
Reps in here as a freshman, getting good reps in high major, high games. Only going to prepare him for SEC play.
This is Jacoby Wright, and it's an offensive foul, a push-off against KT Ramey, who's come on for DePaul.
Jacoby Wright's one of those guys that stayed through the coaching change.
Right.
In today's day and age in college basketball, that just doesn't happen. Started 15 games last year. This is his 3rd year on campus. He's one of those continuity guys that the previous coach leaves and Frank Martin, Lamont Paris comes through the door. 9 times out of 10, players are asking for that release. They want to go in the transfer portal, and he stayed. You got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Deshaun Nelson misses. DePaul now 3 of 8 from the floor. South Carolina lead a half dozen. Ugasuk. And now B.J. Mack working on Nelson. Matchup to watch. Offensive foul. What do you think?
Well, great job by Nelson. You always want to absorb the first hit. I think he even absorbed the second one. But on that 3rd one, as he continued to back his way down, you put your body into play. Good physical play by Nelson. That's what DePaul's going to have to do. As you see him here, he absorbs the first 2. Never really saw B.J. Mack drop his shoulder there, but the block charge call, Jack, it's the most inconsistent call in all of college basketball. I would say that I had my fair share of arguments on those calls my day, but
I'm stunned.
The officials love me now. They all come up before the games and say, we love this Matt McCall a lot better. He's not over there stomping his feet, jumping up and down. He's actually smiling. So I said, yeah, well, maybe you should have gotten a couple. That terrific teams last year there, David Jean-Baptiste, who's ever going to forget that shot in the Southern Conference tournament. Really had some opportunities in their NCAA tournament game, and then here comes to South Carolina, and you've alluded to it, a program that outside of that Final Four that Frank Martin took him to, has struggled, and he's the guy. Zach Davis knocks it down at a career high last year, 13 versus A&M, but Coach Paris is the guy that's done it. He's seen what winning looks like, and he's the right man for this job.
That was Zach Davis's first three of the year. Oden, a sweeping hook. And the rebound down to Josh Gray, third year in the program after starting his career at LSU. A lot of size for South Carolina. Davis and now Ugasuk off the Clark screen. South Carolina 7 for 12 to start, 3 of 5 from distance. Kobe Wright and Ramey taking him baseline into 2, drop off to Gray. And played well by a Bass, but they call a foul.
Here, another guy that stayed through the coaching change, and when there's coaching changes, there's waivers somewhere. That was the whole point of the transfer portals. We're trying to get rid of guys and throwing different guys out there, different matchups, and he's a guy that can help this team, especially when they get to SEC play, with just how physical of a league the SEC is.
How about Gray, who was a career 42% free throw shooter entering that trip, just made a couple. Lead is 11. Scoring drop for DePaul has surpassed 2.5 minutes. And that was zone look for South Carolina. Oden, baseline 2 won't go. Davis the rebounds. South Carolina wants to push. Trying to tack onto this lead. Davis travel. Turnover number 5, ball they go. Just starting up the college basketball season, and South Carolina has started fast here in Arizona. 19-8 lead. DePaul in a scoring drought that's gone on for 3 minutes. A Bass blocked inside. Gray and Clark getting to him. The Gamecocks shooting 58% from the field. 3 of 5 from distance. Michi Johnson to Gray. And a foul. That'll be 2 early ones on a Bass.
In the paint, in and around the basket.
And Gray back to the free throw line. I thought it was fascinating watching DePaul practice, man. And you can Harvey is on. Matt Brady's a special assistant to the head coach. That was as intense a practice as I've seen, the way they were moving around the whole time.
Every assistant coach, everyone in the program, all the play, everybody was sweating, running down the energy level from the team. You'd never know this team started off 1 and 2. Again, that's changing the culture. And sometimes, especially at a place that hasn't won in a very long time, it takes time to change that culture.
There's Caleb Murphy, second year in the program, started at South Florida, had wrist surgery October of last year before the season started, and trying to get back to full form still. That stops the scoring drought. Michi Johnson on the baseline, he pulls back, and he knocks down another one. Michi Johnson is into double figures already. We're not even to the midway point of the first half. He's got 11.
Caleb Murphy and Abbas got a little bit mixed up there on pick and roll coverage. Murphy thought they switched. Abbas didn't switch, and Michi able to knock that down.
Murphy sizzling in the lane. Jeremiah Oden. And now KT Ramey, been a spark plug off the bench. Off on that 3. He actually came in leading the Big East in three-point percentage. 9 for 16 prior to that miss.
DePaul's got to find a way to get more penetration to the paint. The ball is just moving too much on the perimeter, and guys are settling.
Oh, Johnson again.
Johnson with the
28-game home win streak for Kentucky in that game.
Rupp Arena is a very difficult place to play, one of the best environments in all of college basketball. And anytime you can come out of there with a win, playing in front of the great BBN, it's a big-time performance.
He's been in double figures all 4 games now this year. 24-10. Chico Carter Jr. drawing some contacts. 11 now in the season. Again, 2 years at South Carolina. He's a Colombian native, so it made sense after he started.
No question about it, and comes from a basketball family. Both parents played in college at Morris College. His sister played in the Southern Conference at Furman. A lot of basketball in the Carter family.
No question about it. I think it's 1 of 2. 13-point South Carolina lead. Tough pass there, taken by Oden. And that's 6 turnovers on South Carolina. Caleb Murphy. Let's see.
Knocked him in his face, but go back to that previous play, Jack, and You saw Chico Carter do this early on in the game. They were working on this in practice when guards fronting and working around, and great job by Chico Carter.
You can see those free throws that Murphy takes. It's almost like a shot put. It's like form of shooting, but as Tony Stubblefield says, hey, if it works, stick to it. He was 5 for 5 against South Dakota Tuesday. Got a couple more. Part of it's the wrist surgery, part of it they think is mental, but knocking down a couple there. DePaul trying to claw their way back into this. Michi Johnson, number 5, has 14 of their 24. Miles Studi has 2 more. He's got 5.
We saw him knock down a 3 early in this basketball game, and there you see turning in the corner, getting to his right hand. And one of the reasons it makes him such a good, tough player, difficult player to guard is just his size and his physicality in the spot. There's Chico Carter knocks it down. One of his best attributes as a player, but he's also a leader. You can see him talking to Murphy there, trying to bring his team together. After he knocks that down a little.
So Michi Johnson will shoot the technical free throw. And he's off the mark. Carter jogging against his former team. I'm shocked. And he missed them both. What do they say sometimes? Flawless, missing a couple of technical free throws. He's got 14 first half points. 26-16. Jacoby Wright for Studi. Johnson, Gray sets the screen. Cooper's out there as well. Gray inside, that's too easy. Two-hand thunder.
He wanted that one. He felt like he missed some bunnies early in this game. Went up strong with both hands and finally got one to go down.
His first field goal. Chico Carter working on Cooper. Jeremiah Oden for 3. And Johnson on the weak side. South Carolina just south of 70% from the floor. Gray kicks. Jacoby Wright off the mark. Long rebound tracked down. Michi Johnson drop off to Cooper, and he finishes. Timeout, Tony. Grand Canyon beat San Francisco in a thriller earlier to get to the championship Sunday. So they'll have that home crowd behind them. And South Carolina looking good here, partner. What impressed you most about them so far?
Well, you got right now out rebounding DePaul 16-3. Start this basketball game, but just their activity defensively. Just making it really hard for DePaul to run anything, get the ball to the paint. Anytime DePaul's gotten it to the paint, they've had some success, but South Carolina making it hard. They got length, size, closing. They're going to jam up the wings and make it difficult to have wing entries. Keep the ball in the middle of the floor and see if he can't drive that defense and get the back.
Back to this, you know, I know you're a golfer. It's kind of like when you hit out a turn or something in match play, right? First free throws in for Chico Carter. Yeah, you don't see that very often. It's like batting out of order in baseball. Both are in. So Chico Carter's got 9. He's 2 of 3 for the floor. The rest of DePaul are 3 for 14. 12-point game. Can DePaul start getting some stops? South Carolina right now is just making mincemeat of their defense. That's a foul away from the ball on Nelson. Attack the basket. They're all capable.
And that's what you want to see DePaul do more. How can we cut into this league? Can we get more pressure at the dribble penetration in the paint to put South Carolina in more closeout situations? South Carolina, they haven't been in those types of situations where they're having to run guys off the three-point line to open things up for other players.
KT Ramey with Fisher, Oden, Abbas, and Carter, the 5 for DePaul. Shooting just 29% for the fields. That improves as Ramey drills a 3, and they needed that one in a big way. The Big East best 3-point shooter coming in. That's his 10th make this year on 17 tries. And a steal. Ramey has it on the move against Wright. Lost it in transition, taken back by Gray. They're trying to go 1 on 3. Cooper always looking ahead. Studi to the rim. There's the vision of Cooper in transition.
Yeah, just a 4-point swing there for South Carolina, too. Rainey, after great execution the previous possession offensively, great job running their offense, screening, playing with pace. Tried to just do a little too much in transition, and it allows South Carolina to get the steal in the basket on the other end of the floor.
Ramey off the Abbas screen. He slipped into travel. We've seen a lot of players slip.
These two teams' advances from this game. the energy level and the excitement from that first game. It's been outstanding.
South Carolina by a dozen. Largest lead's been 14. Backdoor Davis. And that'll be a foul on Keon.
As a front court player to do a lot of different things and affect the game in a lot of different ways. B.J. Mack is that same type of player. He was Harvard, it was Florida, it was Alabama, it was LSU, it was Arkansas, it was somebody in the SEC was going to snag him up.
A couple missed free throws there for Davis. South Carolina, how about this? They're 4 for 11 at the free throw line, yet they're up by 12. You make your free throws, this isn't even a game. Elijah Fisher, they need it and doesn't get it. Davis rebounds. Abbas goes down in a heap. South Carolina on the move. Cooper always looking up. It's Jacoby right off the bounce in the lane. His floater's way off, and Cooper has the long rebounds. He's 1 on 2 and sees it. DePaul 6 for 19 for the field, and that'll improve. It's Chico Carter. He's in double figures with 11, keeping DePaul afloat single-handedly right now.
Great pass by Jaden Henley, though. Putting pressure on the paint. That's what they got to do more of. Continue to put pressure on the paint, but also cut. You don't have to settle for perimeter jump shots. The second South Carolina defenders turn their head, cut to the basket, try to get yourself some more easy baskets. They force a turnover there.
Studi throws it away. Better defensive sequence there. DePaul can't make anything, but South Carolina 9 turnovers, 7 missed free throws. There you go. Offensive foul. Away from the ball going on Jaden Henley, the Minnesota transfer. One of 5 transfers on this DePaul roster. They've got 5 transfers, 8 newcomers. A couple of true freshmen playing key minutes like Abbas. A couple of losses to start against Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Long Beach State before beating South Dakota. B.J. Mack's off on a 3. Rebound Chico Carter Jr. Carter off the Abbas screen. DeAndre Young and now Fisher against Studi and a carry. I don't see that called very much in college basketball.
Coach trying to will his team, and you know it's important to him, and took over a challenging job, and just he's going to make sure that his energy levels every single day is Cooper with a great pass.
What else
inside?
Cooper
to B.J. Mack.
Yeah, Cooper to Mack. So Cooper gets his 4th dime. Mack his 2nd bucket. South Carolina's lead back to a dozen. That's a foul on the floor going on Cooper. We keep DePaul in this game with 11. He's 3 of 4 from the field. The rest of the team 4 for 16. Missed free throw there. He's now Carter, who is a grad transfer from South Carolina, playing his former team. He's a native of Columbia. We mentioned that. Went to Cardinal Newman, where he started in high school as their all-time leading scorer. Nearly 2,000 points. Averaged 25 as a senior. They're leading them to a state title. Goes 1 of 2. It's an 11-point game and a steal. There is Abbas to the rim, and he elevates and slams. They needed that energy boost in a big way.
That's exactly what they needed, and you can see the bench is up. They're into the game right now. Great job by Abbas, jumping out in that passing lane, making it difficult for South Carolina to run their offense. They need more of that moving forward in this basketball game. 9 South Carolina turnovers now. That's a foul on DePaul, and it'll be free throwing over. Tony Stubblefield made the trip out there to get both of them, and they have been huge assets. Talon Cooper knocks in that first free throw. It's interesting for a guy who's really a pretty good three-point shooter, about 35-36% for his career. Going back to Abbas, you know, with Mac Etienne being out, it's giving him an opportunity to get this in-game reps and this experience that when they get to Big East play, he's already going to play against big-time competition as Cooper sticks his body in there and takes the charge. But Abbas is going to continue to grow and get better, and it's really going to help this team when they get to Big East play.
No, it's a great point. It's an offensive foul on Elijah Fisher, another young guy. A lot of guys getting chances here in the non-conference, and again, no Jalen Terry, no Mac Etienne for DePaul, so they are certainly short-handed right now. Really only going 8 deep. Michi Johnson for Cooper. They took that charge moments ago. We near 3 to go in the first half. That is an offensive foul. Going to go on B.J. Mack on the legal screen.
You know, we covered the block charge call.
Right.
And we talked about one of the most inconsistent calls in college basketball. The illegal screen kind of creeps up there as well. Does his feet were too wide? Did he stick his elbow out? It's kind of tough to get that one right every time as well.
You tell me you're always kind of guessing what the call was. Inside 3 to play first half. Here at Desert Diamond Arena, nightcap of the Arizona tip-off. Chico Carter dropping off for a pass. Spinning around, finds some room, missed it badly.
Earlier in the game, off that same exact action, KT Ramey knocked it down at the top of the key. Trying to put pressure on the paint. He trusted the pass. He dropped it off to him, trusted him to go up there and try to make a play.
Odin's got to go with 5. Down the lane, he works, and he scoops it home. Good finish there for Jeremiah Odin. It's his first field goal. He came in leading them in scoring right around 14 a game. Somehow, DePaul only down by 9 points, despite all that has gone on. Morris Ugasuk in the lane. Drop off feed to Gray. Pivots around, blocked by a Bass. Oh, there he is. Block number 9 on the season. Carter kicks. Jeremiah Odin now. Can DePaul get something going? It's Carter. Tough floater, got it to go. DePaul back within 7.
But Chico Carter, again, not settling for long contested perimeter jump shots, trying to put pressure on the paint. They've got to continue to do that. But how about the big fella with the block on the other end, getting some life into this team, igniting this team.
14 first half points for Carter. Johnson down the lane, he finishes again. Well, back and forth we go with Johnson and Carter. How about 16 for Johnson on 7 for 9 shooting?
We had the same thing in the first game. We had the 2 guards hitting the second half, just going right at each other. Terrific matchup, and same thing here.
Jaden Henley tried to draw some contact on that jumper and sort of altered the way he shot it. Missed it badly. Approaching the final minute here in the first half. Michi Johnson again, and he's bumped.
That aren't here for DePaul, but freshman Colin Murray Bowles for South Carolina. Talking to their coaching staff, yes, you can go 9-10 deep, especially when you got to conference play. You know, you're 10th, 9th, 10th man injected into the basketball game, and they come in and have an impact. He's got a lot of guys over there and going to be able to wear teams down.
18 in the first half for Johnson. Final minute. Can DePaul grab some momentum here before the break? Jeremiah Odin cut off by Davis. Clock ticking down. Jaden Henley going against the defensive Johnson in a foul.
Try to get something quick going at the basket here so they can get the last possession of the first half.
Henley knocks in that first one. Started 18 games for the Gophers. Second on the team in three-point percentage and steals. And he makes both free throws. And DePaul's back to him single in Phoenix, by the way. And of course, here we are tonight at Desert Diamond Arena, nightcap of the Arizona tip-off. They can go 2 for 1 if they hurry. It's Studi, open look for 3. And left it on the front iron. Well, they got the 2 for 1 opportunity, about a 6-second game clock, shot clock difference.
Yeah, good execution coming out of the timeout. Great play, got the right shot, just didn't go down, but we'll get the last possession of the first half. DePaul's got to get something going here, get something at the basket, maybe try to get themselves to the foul line to get them momentum going into halftime.
Only shooting 40% in the first half, but they can get back within a couple possessions. Henley in the lane, working on right, blocked away by Gray.
Ton of minutes throughout his career, but he's a veteran player. He's played a lot of SEC games and getting an opportunity in this one here.
Carter's got to go with 2, falling away, and it's over the side of the backboard in a shot clock violation. 6.6. Michi Johnson down to 3, long 3, left it short, and a Bass rebounds.
And because the rebound margin was almost astronomical at one point in the first half. They closed that gap. They kept playing. They kept competing. Caleb Murphy to start the second half. He's got the ball in his hands. He's got to find a way to stay out there on the floor.
Carter, Nelson, Fisher, Murphy, and Odin starting 5 out there for DePaul. This is Murphy. He was saddled with 3 fouls in that first half, including a technical, and played 6 minutes. Nelson able to drop that one through. A good start for DePaul after shooting just 38% in the first half.
Murphy coming off the ball screen. He gets himself in the lane. More paint touches offensively for DePaul. That's exactly what they need, as Nelson was able to knock it down, but they need more paint touches.
Mack, Clark, Johnson, Studi, and Cooper for South Carolina. This is Johnson. 18 first half points for him, and he draws a foul. Game, he had 4 last year, including scoring a career-high 26 at Kentucky in Rupp Arena. We talked about it. First win at Rupp Arena, calls his uncle. Very, very close. How about this? His dad, Demetrius. He's technically Demetrius, but he goes by Michi. His dad's Michi Sr. He was the #2 prospect, his dad was, behind LeBron coming out of high school in the Cleveland area. LeBron in Akron and his dad, Demetrius, in Cleveland. So a very good player, now coaches AAU and college players. Very cool, though. They have a good relationship still, and a lot of respect there.
LeBron James or MJ? As we talked about MJ earlier in the broadcast. We're going to get your pick on those two. Who's the GOAT? Who's the greatest of all time?
Is that what we're doing now that we're at 1:15 East Coast time? Here's a takeaway. Might save that for Sunday. We'll see. See how this game goes. Caleb Murphy, DePaul down 9, hanging around, despite shooting only 39% to South Carolina's 58%. Now Bass facing out. Doesn't really have that in his game yet. An offensive foul. That's the part of his game that needs him growing, the offensive side.
Well, I love the fact that he's facing up to the basket. They were working on that yesterday. Working on finishing in the basket, but if you get pushed off the block, that inside pivot move where you can use your jab and try to get your defender to come out of his stance. He does it. He gets B.J. Mack to rise up, but he just lowers his shoulder. Try to get to the center of the lane, get that halo area, and just rise up and use that left-hand jump hook.
How about B.J. Mack taking that charge with 3 fouls? That could have been #4 on him.
Well, you saw what he did it to him in the first half. He was trying to get him back.
Mack for 3. And DePaul unable to secure the rebound. It finds the hands of Johnson. And finally DePaul able to clear. Caleb Murphy kicks. Chico Carter passes up a 3. That's very rare for him. And DePaul will reset in the half court. 2 gone, second half. Murphy knifing through traffic. Nowhere to go against Cooper. Falls away and it spins out. Halfway down. Everything in the half court right now very difficult for DePaul.
Gotta love the effort just to get the ball to the paint. Early in this game, the ball was just getting swung side to side. You can see Coach Stubblefield, great pass, great backdoor cut.
Another great cut from Michi Johnson. He's got 22 points, an 8 for 12 shooting. He's now 4 shy of that career high set at Kentucky last year.
Stephen Clark, great pass on the backdoor cut. You can see Coach Stubblefield had to have talked about it at halftime. Stop with the swing of the basketball on the perimeter. We need to put more pressure on the paint, especially off the bounce.
Elijah Fisher, scoreless in that first half. They really need him to get going. Carter for Oden. Nowhere to go. Shot clock ticking down. Oden fades away, misses again. And the defense is just hounding right now for South Carolina. 1 of 4 start to the second half for DePaul. B.J. Mack for Stephen Clark. And now Michi Johnson. Ball in his hands. Deep 3. And a rare miss for him. Only his 5th miss from the floor tonight on 13 shots.
Coach Paris wanted him. He got the matchup that he wanted. He wanted to settle. Chico Carter here. Great play. More of that from DePaul. Putting pressure on the paint. Not settling. Driving it in there. Not just swinging it side to side, but Coach Paris, he got the switch, got the match. Don't settle for jump shots. Try to put more pressure on the paint on this end.
Talon Cooper, no look feed to Clark. There's that vision again of Cooper. Clark gets his first points. Cooper with his 5th assist. How about this 62nd career game with 5 or more assists for him?
Well, you know he's a leader too. He's elected team captain last year at Minnesota. He's transferred in there from Morehead State.
Murphy cut off, kicks to Oden. DePaul needed one badly and they don't get it. Johnson on the run. With his game high 22 points. It's Studi. And now B.J. Mack against the Bass. This is a fun matchup. And the true freshman played him well.
What a luxury for Lamont Paris's offense. Create for his teammates, constantly looking for his teammates. Just an outstanding player.
Good wraparound feed by Fisher to a Bass. And DePaul back within 9. Again, nightcap of the Arizona tip-off. We appreciate you all staying up with us late on the East Coast, especially here at Desert Diamond Arena. Jack Benjamin and Matt McCall with you. Winner gets Grand Canyon Sunday. Loser has San Francisco on Sunday afternoon in the consolation game. Grand Canyon winning a thriller earlier. Cooper for three, puts it in. Talon Cooper's done it mostly with his passing, but a big three-pointer there, stretching the lead to 12.
Everything, B.J. Mack. The great pass to find Cooper for the wide open three, but whoever goes on to win this game, partner, we know it's gonna be a road game for them.
No question. Carter missing on the fly. That's out of bounds. Will stay with Division I, and now standing alone in fourth. That is impressive to look at. 625 dimes. What a career he's put together, from Morehead State to Minnesota to South Carolina. And now dropping dimes in the desert. Elijah Fisher, I should say Caleb Murphy there with a jumper.
That's exactly what DePaul needs. They need him to stay out there on the floor. He's one of the best creators. You see DePaul, first time this game, jumping into a zone defense, but Murphy's a guy, he's a threat. He's always a threat out there. Offensively,
Zach Davis drilling a three.
You need to keep the ball in Murphy's hands, allow him to create when he gets in the lane, draw the help, see if he can find Chico Carter on the perimeter. He's just such a terrific playmaker.
Davis was 0 for 2 coming in from distance. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Chico Carter on the baseline. Oh, he wiggles his way for 2. What a finish that is. He's got 18 points.
Hey, he got down there. It almost looked like he was trying to find his teammates on the perimeter. Had 2 guys on it. Couldn't find anybody. And DePaul is hanging around.
Came in as their leading scorer. Has struggled tonight with foul trouble. He just picked up his 4th foul. He figures to be on the bench for a while. Feels like a really, really big couple minutes here. Caleb Murphy. Can DePaul chip into this deficit? It's Fisher. They want to post up Odin, and they got a foul. Only 2.5 on South Carolina. Dave
got the ball to the paint. Got to keep him out there on the floor.
13.5 points per game for him on about 70% shooting his last couple. And a steal. Zach Davis elevates and detonates. Oh, a thunderous flush.
Big time play. You got to think that's some momentum changing plays, just live ball turnovers, just giving South Carolina baskets. That's what DePaul has to avoid if they want to get back into this game.
And Davis with 8 points off the bench, 3 for 3 shooting. Chico Carter to Odin. Beautiful drop off for 2. Good 2-man game there. DePaul's made its last 4. South Carolina's made its last 4. All of a sudden, we got some offense going.
Run pick and rolls to try to get 2 on the ball, and Chico held those 2 defenders on him and able to dump that pass. This is a big time play by Chico.
Talon Cooper in his straitjacket, dropping off Bozeman's Verdonk, looking for space, missed it, and a foul. Dad Hercules at Denmark OR. They did a great senior year for him. Bozeman's Verdonk, I'm not trying to challenge that guy in a test on IQ because he is smarter than all of us combined.
I want to know how many other college basketball players right now are currently enrolled in law school. That's something that there's probably not too many. The coaching staff was talking about how last season, you know, your first year of law school is one of the most challenging years of all 3 years, and the coaching staff talked about it. Film session would end, and he'd have to stay and study.
Amazing to think about. To be a D1 athlete on top of it, I can't even imagine. Zach Davis for 3. That's his first miss from the floor. Bozeman's Verdonk keeps it alive. Talon Cooper reloads. No. Tipped, kept alive, still loose. Bozeman's Verdonk, loose change. And he puts it in. Doing all the dirty work here in the desert.
And that's exactly what they need from Verdonk, as B.J. Mack goes to the bench in foul trouble. He comes out and he makes the effort plays. Big time play by him.
DeAndre Young's off the mark. DePaul now 2 of 10 from 3-point range tonight. South Carolina will run some clock. The lead is 14, matching its largest. Jacoby Wright at the controls. They said a stagger for him. It's Davis. And now Cooper against Murphy. Backing him down to the hook. And they want to run with Murphy. Carter in transition, taking some contact, scores anyway.
You know, don't play old started on the other end of the floor with Murphy. It was a design play for Cooper to get it on an isolation on a wing there to see if he can drive it. Hartford did a great job just holding his ground and not giving Cooper an easy basket, and the transition basket on the other end to keep this game within reach.
Season high 20 for Carter, 11th career 20-point game. Zach Davis off the bounce, lost it, and the DePaul defense starting to show up. So a turnover on
the hump to turn this into a 2 or 3 possession game. Coach Paris pretty animated on the sidelines going into that timeout. He didn't love the last 2 offensive possessions for his team. Felt like they settled a little bit and just haven't put this DePaul team away.
DePaul hanging around, shooting 58% in the second half. Jaden Henley. And now Chico Carter Jr. Team high 20 points. Down the lane again. Up and off. A Bass on the boards. Carter got it back. Blocked away by Ugasuk. Oh, what a play. A big time denial for the true freshman from Finland. And now South Carolina can run some clock. 3 blocks, all of them big for the Gamecocks. It's Davis to the rim. A Bass there to greet him. Offensive rebound and put back for. He's a guy we talked about. He led them last year in rebounding and blocks. Led them with 22 dunks. Misses on that free throw, and Ramey rebounds. So Gray is now 3 for 7 at the line. South Carolina's missed 9 as a team, but DePaul turns it over. 4-on-1 break for South Carolina. Johnson up top. Oh man, Davis tried to bring the house down.
Chances.
That's one that's got to frustrate you as a coach if you're Lamont Paris, I'm guessing. Just finish it off, right?
He turned around and said something to his assistant coaches.
Henley, oh, a step back triple. Missed it. At some point, DePaul's got to make a few of these from deep, you would think. I mean, the South Carolina defense has just been too good. It's Fisher. Carter given room by Gray. Shot clock inside 10 again. It's Carter, and he gets a step and a foul. It's 5 on South Carolina.
Every single time you foul, DePaul's about to be in the bonus. The clock's going to stop. Gives you more of an opportunity to set your defense, so they've got to find a way to defend without fouling.
Who for DePaul is going to help out Chico Carter Jr. with his 20? Maybe it's Fisher. Yep, there's a good start. Elijah Fisher with his first points. Came in averaging 12.7, ranked 2nd on the team.
Right on cue. This game is back to 11. South Carolina, that missed dunk. Let's see if that has a big impact on this game coming down the stretch.
Oh, and he fouls Gray. Not the worst thing in the world when he's 3 for 7.
It's hung around here at 11. Really, the entire second half has kept, the score has been really the same, and it's a 12-point game at the half.
Gray is now 3 for 8 at the line. South Carolina's missed 10 free throws as a team. He goes 1 of 2 there. Mack comes in again. Mack entered as their leading scorer and leading rebounder, 16 points and 7 boards, but he's got 4 fouls. So does DePaul make a concerted effort now to go at Mack and get that 5th foul?
Absolutely. You put him in the middle pick and roll, try to maybe even post him, see if he'll be aggressive, because it's also going to help your offense. So maybe getting down the lane, but again.
His college career at the College of Southern Idaho. Kansas City native, went to Olathe North High School, starred there. And showing a little off the bounce game there.
And BJ Mack, with 9 minutes to go in this game, you're worried about him on the defensive end of the floor picking up his 5th foul, but also offensively, if he's out there setting ball screens. We saw him pick up an illegal screen earlier in this half. You just got to be careful on how you're utilizing him offensively if you get him in the low post here.
Ugasuk for 3. And DePaul clears with Ramey. They can get back within single digits with the basket here. Jeremiah Odin spinning in the lane on Johnson. Way too strong. South Carolina with numbers. Studi looking up. And Michi Johnson will reset. Johnson had 18 in the first half. Just 4 here in the second. Jacoby Wright for Johnson. They want to find Mack on the post up with Henley, and they threw it over his head. You know, part of that too, I would think, knowing he has 4 fouls, he can't.
Trying to just force it into him, it creates the turnover, and a lot of times on post entries, it's trying to force it in there is what creates it.
Henley swerving down the lane, up and off. Paul's had a couple chances to claw closer and can't convert. Talon Cooper, the veteran guard. Mack for 3. And Ramey, another rebound. Under 8 to go now. Chico Carter Jr. outside to Ramey, trying a three. And everything coming up short now for both teams. Some tired legs out there.
Well, South Carolina's coming from the East Coast. You never know if that plays a factor, as Michi Johnson says. I'm just going to take this one myself.
At Kentucky in that win at Rupp Arena.
To say it's been an offensive struggle the last 3 minutes for somebody to step up and make a play. You got to continue to execute your offense, value possessions coming down the stretch. South Carolina misses both free throws, and DePaul still hanging around.
South Carolina's lead is 10. They've missed 12 free throws. This game could be over. Instead, DePaul has a pulse, but can they take advantage? Zone look for South Carolina. Ramey, corner three. He got it. DePaul needed it in a big way. And they're back within 7.
Coming out of the timeout, Coach Paris goes 1-3-1. They played one possession of it in the first half. First time they've utilized it all season. They go back to it there. Open threes in the corner versus the 1-3-1.
South Carolina without a field goal, going on 3 minutes. Studi for Davis. Gray, and now Talon Cooper working off the screen. Step back triple. Left it short. Tip won't go. And that is a foul on the floor against DePaul.
They go back man to man. Anytime you jump to a 1-3-1 zone, if you can get the ball down to the corner offensively, you always put a go back to his man to man here.
Finally a made free throw for South Carolina. Davis went 0 for 2 in his first trip of the half. He gets both there. And the lead is back to 9 points. DePaul hanging around. They have not led in this game. They've trailed by as many as 14. Chico Carter Jr. They hedge it out high. It's Henley. And they want to post up Nelson on Gray. Double comes. Nelson stumbling in the lane, falls away and can't get the roll. And Gray clears. That's his 5th rebound.
Let's give it South Carolina some great minutes in this game, especially with B.J. Mack and the foul trouble that he's been in there. Hasn't been terrific from the foul line, but he's come up with some big rebounds, crucial situations, executing offense, not turning the basketball over. Valuable minutes from the veteran and Josh Gray.
To your point, 12 minutes, 8 points, 2 of 3 from the floor, 5 boards, a couple of blocks, doing a little bit of everything. But South Carolina now without a field goal, more than 4 minutes. DePaul, though, still down 9. Caleb Murphy through traffic. He's got a quickness advantage here. Takes Gray off the bounce, right to the cup. There it is. On cue, Caleb Murphy. He's coming alive with 8 points. DePaul within 7 again.
And great job not settling. He got the switch. Josh Gray on the pick and roll switches onto him. He utilizes it. He sees it. He gets all the way to the rim and doesn't settle for a pull-up jump shot. Gets the bigger guy on him. That's exactly what you have to do.
South Carolina's had the ability to keep DePaul at an arm's length all night. They do it again. It's Gray against Nelson. Outside Johnson for 3, well short. Nelson there to gobble in the rebound. Pressure coming from behind. Barely saw it, finds the steady hands of Carter. Outside Nelson. Wants to take Gray in the post. Spins inside, puts it up and off and a foul. DePaul with a chance.
Phil wants out of his basketball team.
Deshaun Nelson, big free throws here. Left that one short. DePaul now 12 for 7. Guy's a native again of Toledo, Ohio. He gets 1 of 2. Deficit's down to 6. It's officially 2 possessions. Closest that DePaul has been since very, very early on. They have not led in this game. They've trailed by as many as 14 points. Jacoby Wright off the bounce against Ramey. Might have gotten away with a push-off, and he gets the friendly bounce. Well, that thing sat on the rim and fell through.
I agree with you, partner. I thought he got away with one a little bit, but the touch, the ball stood up on the rim for a long time.
Murphy outside Ramey. Rainbow 3 swirls off. Well, he almost got that thing to go down. 4.5 to play. South Carolina by 8. And Talon Cooper at the controls. Playing in game number 130 of his college career here today. Studi, open look for 3, bottom, and they wave it off. Oh, it's a foul away from the ball on South Carolina. They get Bozeman's Verdonk on the block. So wave off the 3, DePaul still has a pulse.
I was just getting ready to say, we haven't called Miles Studi's name in a while. Great action. Just get called for the illegal screen. Moving a little bit. He doesn't even set a screen. I'm not really sure. Kind of a late whistle. Not even sure if he didn't touch him, if he would even got there. Did that impact the shot? It's a tough call at this juncture in the game.
Bozeman's Verdonk, by the way, just fouled out. 5 fouls in 8 minutes, so he got his money's worth, I'd say.
But even if Verdonk doesn't make contact there,
Right.
it's still a wide open shot for Studi.
I would say so. Well, a lot of times with screen fouls, you didn't need to do them, right? But it's kind of the flow of the offense, the way it happens. So he sits down. So here comes DePaul, down 8. 4:16 to go. Ramey against Davis. Foul away from the ball. That means free throws. 2 for Chico Carter Jr. Got the first. So he's got 21 points. And 2 of 2. DePaul has certainly done a better job of capitalizing at the stripe. How about this? They're 15 for 20 at the line. They've made more free throws than South Carolina, despite the fact that South Carolina has taken 6 more.
Chico Carter, you think he wants to win this one against his old team? He's done just about everything he could in this game. 2 huge free throws there. This is a big possession for South Carolina.
Mack, double team comes, right, tries a 3. Left it short, rebound Oden. 3-pointer here, DePaul's back within a single possession. Ramey for 3. That was a great look too. Felt like the one DePaul had to have.
Gotta love the aggressiveness, especially in
Arena. Nightcap of the Arizona tip-off. DePaul trying to hang around. South Carolina leads it by 6. They've led by as many as 14. And they've got the ball here, trying to stretch that lead back. Under 4 to go. Jacoby right down the lane. And he swivels it around and in. That got every part of the hoop for 2.
He's had a couple of those tonight that just seemed to hang up on the rim. That's the designed isolation drive play to run some fake screening action on the opposite side of the floor, just to try to open up the lane. Great ball play coming out of the timeout by Lamont Paris.
DePaul had to have it there, and they did. Deshaun Nelson, 7 points for him. Back to a 6-point game. Can DePaul consistently get a stop without fouling especially? Talon Cooper off the BJ Max screen. Down the lane he goes. Blocked away by Oden off his leg, out of bounds.
Off. That's a momentum-changing play, but credit to Paul. They continue to battle Coach Stubblefield. They are right here in this basketball. 2-possession games, a big offensive possession.
3-pointer here, back within a single possession. Chico Carter Jr. against his former team. Back to Nelson, up and off. Offensive rebound, somehow collects, and a foul. He threw it off Johnson anyway. It'll be a He has struggled this season, but last year he was 73%. So you know it's in him. And that stroke looked like a 73% free. DePaul, who trailed by 9 at the half. Are back within 5. A missed free throw there by Nelson. So 67-62. 2:30 to play. Still an eternity of time left in this game.
Let's see if they can get Studi a touch here. It's just so talented. They go to isolation play. Johnson, great job putting pressure on the paint, but Studi.
9th team foul on DePaul, 4th on Murphy. And Johnson, who had been 5 for 9 at the line, gets that one from Rupp Arena last January. And he gets both. 7-point game, 2:22 left. Does DePaul have some magic in them? Elijah Fisher. They run Carter off some screens, finally have it. They roll towards 2 to go. It's Carter for Nelson. Backdoor feed. Oden up and in. Oh, what a pass by Nelson. And somehow Oden finessed it in.
It started with Chico Carter, just his ability to play off the bounce and play in pick and roll. We always talk about him as a scorer, but the play started with him getting in the lane, jumping it off, and it's the extra pass for the layup. Big time offensive possession for DePaul.
There's Studi on cue. Wants to back down on Murphy. Across the lane. Left it short. And here comes DePaul. Pass basket here. They're back within a possession. It's Murphy streaking into the front court. Chico Carter Jr. against Talon Cooper. And left that floater short. Might have been trying to foul Gray there. I don't know.
It's a good strategy this late.
4 for 9. So they had to fix that. Both teams still in the double bonus. 1:19 left. Basket here by South Carolina would make it very, very difficult for the ball. Feels like a must-stop situation for Blue Demons. Michi Johnson, game high 24 points, 18 of which he got in this first half. Off a screen with 5 on the timer. Wraps it around and missed it. Here comes DePaul trying to get back within a possession. Murphy, no-look feed, knocked out of bounds. Well, he had Nelson open for a second.
Crucial missed opportunity there by the DePaul because Nelson was open sprinting up the floor.
Odin. Off a screen, it's Carter. Pounded by Johnson. Nowhere to go. Inside Nelson. Spinning baseline and lost it. That's out of bounds. And South Carolina trying to lead a comeback for his team here in the desert. 45.7, 15 to shoot. Chico Carter Jr. against Johnson. Stopped his dribble, it's Nelson. Shot clock to 10. Nelson and Gray working in the lane. That's a tough one. Left it short. Ball batted, taken by Gray. You probably wanted to foul him if you could. And now Cooper's hacked by Murphy.
Great.
Trying to go a long way towards icing this game away. Well, South Carolina continues to kill itself at the free throw. This season only 69%, so it had been a struggle through 3 games.
Mont Paris now going with 5 guards. Got a 6-point lead. His biggest thing now in this game with 30 seconds to go is we can't give up a 3. Whatever action there is, whatever ball screen, screening action, they're going to switch it just so they don't give up 3-point shots.
Carter drives and finishes, and he's got 24. Inbounds pass to Wright. They'll foul him with 20.8.
We set our defense. These are what these coaches have been working on. And again, being in these types of games this early in the season is going to be
South Carolina. That was his first free throw of the night. Now he goes 2 for 2. He's 6 for 7 in the season. South Carolina's lead back to a half dozen. 20 seconds left. Carter's got to hurry. You're in the territory of needing 3s at this point. It's Fisher off a screen. Got to put something up and a foul. Last thing you want to do there if you're Johnson stopping the clean out. And Johnson fouls out. Fisher to the free throw line. And he got the roll on the first. Quiet night for only taking 3 shots. 9.9 to go. Crazier things have happened. It's the roll on both. 4-point game. Inbounds pass to Cooper. Foul him right away. It's Young giving it.
Today, as a practice day, and you play on Sunday, it's got an NCAA tournament feel. You know, some of these MTEs, you play back-to-back.
You quoting John Rothstein again? Only November?
He's got enough quotes. I don't think he doesn't need my help on those.
Free throw good there. They'll be coming up in studio after us. Final 7 seconds. DePaul's got to go, and that's a turnover. And Talon Cooper will just dribble out the clock. And South Carolina does indeed survive. And they will advance to the championship game.